Well, I'm 86 years old and counting, and I realize that I have to face this sooner or later. I do not fear death. The only thing that worries me is being flat on my back for a few months while I'm slowly dying.
And I watched my mother die over quite a period of years, and she didn't have any quality of life for quite a few years. And I think if she had had a choice, she would not have gone through those last few years with her mind not working and her body not working.
Obviously, a person in a coma has no quality of life, and it's really something that that's not really fair to the survivors.
Yeah, I think it's not only unfair to the person who is about to die, I think it's also unfair to the loved ones who have to watch it, because it isn't any fun to watch somebody in pain go on and on, knowing that there's no hope anyway. You know, well, one of the things that people say, which I really object to, is that it's not, you have to do God's will, but it isn't God's will that the medical profession continue to extend life beyond quality of life. If it were just up to nature, we would die much sooner, which I don't think would be any tragedy. Bill's brother's wife, in other words, Bill's sister-in-law, died a very, very long death in the hospital and then in a nursing home. She could not eat, she could not speak. It made his brother miserable to go visit her, because there was really no communication with her not being able to speak. And I guess I have a feeling if I can't eat or speak, I wouldn't want to be there, and I'm pretty sure that that's the way she felt.
And I think there are 3 or 4 things that would summarize a Christian point of view. One is that each person is unique, individual, and precious. That each of us are totally who we are, and there will never be anyone quite like us again. And that God, that's the intention of God, that we each be unique like that. And then I think we would say as Christians that life is a divine gift. Now, the other major point I want to make, and this is difficult to talk about, and there's almost no way to know about it unless you experience it or observe it close hand. And this is the idea that suffering can be sanctified. Now, as a Christian, the chief symbol for my religion is a cross, which I think is an important thing to remember. And I'm speaking now in Holy Week, where this is much on the mind of Christian people, that the story of Jesus is a story about a man who reaches really a point of degradation and desertion, death, pain, that is almost beyond our ability to comprehend. And yet, the story continues on Easter Sunday. And I think it's a paradigmatic statement about how God works, when God works. And that is that there is a movement from death to life, from hopelessness to hope. And for people who are in the end of life and are dying, I think it's important to remember this, because it says you know, this is not a matter of sort of facing a dark blank wall, but remembering the cross and saying, God's going to do something with this. Don't know what it is. It may not be for me personally, but somehow through my suffering that I offer to God, life is going to happen for somebody somewhere. So that, in a sense, you can give your suffering over to other people, and it becomes a way of God working in people's lives.
I have a reverence for life too, but I factor into my reverence for life that God gave us the ability to make choices and gave us the free will to make those choices. So that's where I probably would differ with him most. I do draw a distinction, and it's splitting of hairs, but I do draw a distinction between suicide and assistance in dying. With suicide, I think it comes about for a number of reasons. It can be an impulsive act. It can be due to depression, which is in many cases, not all, but in most cases is treatable. But when you have, let's say, a cancer, Lou Gehrig's disease, whatever that is, not treatable to the end that you're going to be cured, that's a different story. And so if I am dying, and I know I'm dying, and the doctors knows I'm dying, my family knows I'm dying, I should have that option if I want it, to say enough is enough, and let's just hasten what's the inevitable. I have been with more than one person who knew they were terminal, and we have talked. None have ever said, you know, I wish I could end it right now. And that's the ironic thing about it. I think if this law, I mean, if the legislature gives guidelines to what the court decision is, I don't know that there will be that many people who will exercise that option. But the important thing is that they have the option if they desire it. And no one's going to force them. And no one's going to force a physician to assist them in providing the medication that is necessary to end their life. It is free choice, it's free will, and that is, I think, to be respected.